Hey guys, welcome back. It is the coach here, and I got Mike with me. I know it's been a little bit of time since our last video. We're working on some things. Be patient with us. We should have some fun videos coming out this summer to you. Today, I am giving you guys my predictions. I'm going to go through the entire bracket of what I think is going to happen this year in college football. Who's going to make the playoffs? What seed they're going to get? I'm going to say who makes it, who doesn't make it, and Mike's going to be here giving you his comments and letting you know what his thoughts on my bracket. Let us know in the comments down below, what do you think of my bracket? And no, I didn't just put Florida State in it. I promise you, I put time and effort and research. So without further ado, let's get it. First up, I have the 5-12 matchup. So I'm going to go through the entire first round, and then I'll give you my four teams that get buys. Remember the new playoff format. We don't have that weird seeding where if you win your conference, you basically get some auto buys, and you get Arizona State and Boise State getting buys. We don't have that this year. It's going to be the best four teams getting buys. So that's how I'm doing it. But let's go through it. Number 5, I have Penn State versus the 12 seed Tulane. So Penn State's going to play Oregon, Ohio State this year, which to me is going to lead to at least one loss. I think they're going to have two. I think they lose to those two teams and then run the rest of the table. I think Penn State's still a good team, but not a great team. I know they went to the semifinals last year, but the big question to me is, can Drew Allard take the next step? I just don't think so. I don't think he's a next level quarterback. I think he's a solid quarterback. He gets the job done at the college level, but he's not going to push them over the top. I am excited about them. I think they could still have a decent run and do what they did last year, maybe go to a semifinals. But Penn State to me has a ceiling, and they're not the best team in college football, but still a good team and should still have a good year. Tulane, on the other hand, as the 12 seed, they have an easier schedule than last year, which I'm really super excited about. I'm also excited about them playing Ole Miss. That should be a really fun game. Ole Miss better watch out. I think they could beat them and upset them. I know the non-power five is hard to predict, and I feel like Tulane might not be the best choice. I just like them. I like the program. I think they do it right, and I'm going to go with them. Who knows? We'll see. But the 12 seed's always hard because you just don't know, like a Boise State, who's going to have that season, and the margins for error are a lot when it comes to those teams. You slip up once and you're out of the run.
I like Tulane. They looked good in John Summerall's first year, and now he's had another year to shape that team in his vision, which should turn out very well for them. Even so, I think I'd like to have seen Boise State here. Even with losing major impact players, this team still has a good chance of taking the 12 seed. Either team would have quite the daunting first round matchup with Penn State at 5, but I think this upcoming Boise team will shock some fans.
Moving on to the next matchup I have in the first round, you have the 8-9 matchup. That would be Clemson versus Michigan is what I'm predicting. I have Clemson. I have them as the 8 seed, and I just don't like the ACC. The ACC is not very good. Again, top to bottom, one of the weaker of the Power Fours, probably the weakest of the Power Four. And I think with Clemson getting some decent transfers this year, I think you have a good roster. You have a lot of good players returning. I think they can make a good run. They might not be the premium team, but watch out if you're a higher seed. Watch out if you're a good team. I think Clemson could come in and put off an upset in the playoffs. I have them as the 8. 9, this is the one where I could see people starting to get mad in the comment section. I have Michigan at the 9. I have them returning to the playoffs. They avoid a lot of the Big Ten big boys this year. You know, their schedule's pretty light on that side, not having to play Penn State or Oregon. And if the offense can move the ball just a little bit, the defense won't quit like they did last year halfway through the season. Don't think they can do much of a run, but I see them as kind of like the Indiana of this year, the kind of that team that is good in the Big Ten, has a light schedule, and they have a bigger brand than Indiana, so I think they would get a bump and get that, opportunity to make the playoffs if the record's there.
I agree on your points there. I mean, since being put on the map in recent years, Michigan has a high floor and as a team, and they definitely deserve to be in this 8 to 9 seed matchup in this upcoming year. But I mean, in my opinion, let's spice it up a bit. Who needs Clemson? I think the team that wins the ACC here would be SMU with their $159 million raised in the 2023 to 2024 season alone for their athletic program. they've been hell bent on securing stability in the college football landscape. And I think last year was only the beginning of their rise in the ACC, with Clemson stumbling in recent memory. And I know they didn't do too well in their playoff game, but their holes were clear, and I think they did a decent enough job at addressing them. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
The third first round matchup I have, we have 6 seed Texas Tech versus 11 Florida. Texas Tech is next, and they have a good chance of winning the Big 12 because honestly, almost everyone can win the Big 12. The Big 12 is wide open. They have spent so much money at NIL. They have the boosters, they have the backing, they have some studs on the roster, and I think they become the surprise team of the year and really go for it. And they're the Arizona State. They're that Big 12 team that we're not really thinking about that ends up going and making the tourney. Who knows what they can do next? Florida, on the other hand, is good, but I probably am not the smartest one for picking them. They have probably the hardest schedule in all of college football, but I love them so much. They have so much talent. I'm excited. I thought the way they ended last year had me super excited to see what they can do. I think they're trending in the right direction, but this team could end up having a bad record, but that's just because of the strength of schedule. I think on the other hand, they're going to have a good record. I think they sneak in as the 11 seed. Maybe it's a 9-3 11 seed, and they get in just because of who they had to beat and the teams they've had to play.
Talk about spicing it up with the Florida pick at the 11. I know a few people that would be very happy to see that happen. It'll be very hard for me to root against that, though, with Texas Tech as their opponent in this game. With their athletic program exploding onto the map recently in any and all sports, it's been really exciting to see what they can do, and I think they're going to be a juggernaut for years to come.
In my last first round matchup, I have the 7 seed Texas versus number 10 Miami. Texas is reloading, and I think take a little step back, but still make the playoffs because they have so much talent. I know Arch Manning is a good quarterback, but I just think the weapons that he's lost and losing so many to the draft, I think they're going to feel it a little bit next year, especially early on. Miami has to be good, right? I feel like they get hyped up every year, and every year they fall short. I'm a gambling man, so I'm hoping this year is actually the year Crystal Ball gets it right. Carson Beck will also show us if he's the real deal or not. This is either will make me look really smart, or I'll have comments calling me out when they fall apart and go 6-6.
I like seeing Miami up here because they had a great start and an interesting finish to last year. But the surprising pick here, Coach, is Texas being in this seed of a game. I understand your point about them losing talent, but I don't, for some reason, think there's going to be a movie-like first season for Archie Manning. I just see it coming.
Now that we got through the first round, I'm going to give you my 4 teams that get buys, and there's going to be a lot of angry fans, probably SEC fans, in the comments when their team doesn't get it because they're expecting their team to be here, and they're not going to be here. They're just not. But number 4, I'm starting with Notre Dame. Trusting the program, really trust the program. It keeps it going, but I definitely could see it backfiring on me if QB play is subpar. Could be another Michigan, but I'm trusting Marcus Freeman to get the job done. I think Notre Dame is going in the right direction, and they are a fun team, and I would not be surprised to see them back in a national championship type situation, but I think they get the 4 seed. I think they're a good team. At 3, I have Oregon, possible revenge tour after last season's terrible playoff performance. They were the best team in all of college football in the regular season, and then probably had to play the second best team after a bye, end up losing to Ohio State, and Ohio State goes on to win the national championship. I think Oregon bounces back this year. They have a good regular season again. I think they get a high seed, and we'll see if they can get the job done and push across the finish line and get that first national championship, or, keep their logo in the middle of a big fat 0 natties. 2, we got Georgia, best team in the SEC for me the last 7 years, so I don't feel like I could go wrong here. I'm going with Georgia again. I know a lot of people are probably freaking out right now about no LSU or Alabama as my SEC champ. I like Georgia. Georgia gets the job done. Georgia always, these last couple of years under Kirby Smart, find a way to get the job done. And I'm just going to trust them. I'm just trusting Kirby Smart and Georgia to get the job done. And I don't trust LSU and Alabama like I trust Georgia. It's as simple as that. And then lastly, Ohio State. They won it last year. I'm going to trust them again to. They have so much talent. They're loaded. They're good. I'm picking them one. I think they're going to dominate. We'll see what happens in the playoffs if they can go back to back. But to me, they're really good. They're really loaded, and I'm putting them one.
I think that's a really solid top four. The only thing I change is what I was talking about earlier with Texas dethroning Ohio State. I think it's a definite possibility, and I honestly think the opposite happens to Oregon. As a team, they take a step back this coming year, especially with how the playoffs went for them last year. I guess we'll just have to see how it shakes out. But yeah, that's the only thing I would change.
All right. So y'all got my playoff predictions. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Who did I leave out? How dumb am I? Let me know. We can have conversations in the comment sections. I'm ready for war. I'm ready to back up my arguments. And until next time, peace.
It was time to rage, no need to stop.